Hello, I'm DerTebbers. This is your Flight Simulator X Plane Spotlight. We are here in Columbia, South Carolina, aboard our North American B-25 Mitchell. This is a B-25J model. We'll talk about why we know this, other than the fact it said it, but we'll talk about why we know this. Why are we in Columbia? We'll talk about that too. I promise we'll talk about these things. I know sometimes I say I will and then I don't, but alright. Let's add flap first. We got some flap. Let's just click a bunch of flap and see what happens. Now, one thing I noticed when I'm in the cockpit, and hopefully you can hear this on YouTube. I turn the engines up. Okay? Right now you hear them. You should hear them about balanced, left, right. I am not touching my audio board at all. I'm going to look to the left. Oh, it doesn't work on my audio board. Ah, that's right. My audio board doesn't. My audio board balances it. Dadgummit. What you'll notice yourself is that the engines will fade in and out. My audio board actually compensates for that, so it creates a more surround sound effect. What can I say? You know, what else? Oh well. Alright, do we have flap? We do have flap. We have a lot of flap on there. Okay, we don't need all that flap. Alright, let's go ahead and run up our our 1600-92 twin cyclone 14-cylinder radial engines, 1,700 horsepower each. Yeah. Nice. Yes, it does have RAF livery, but you know what? I have a better reason for being here in Columbia. I'm at Columbia Metro. I should actually be at Columbia Owens Field. I was scared about takeoff time, and apparently I didn't have to be, because here we go. Oh, we're up in the air. All right, wheels going in. Flaps going all the way up. Go. North American B-25 Mitchell in the air. Most famous for the daring Doolittle raid. Named in honor of General Billy Mitchell, a U.S. military aviation pioneer, nearly 10,000 of these aircraft were built. Used for everything. I mean, high and low altitude bombing, strafing, photo recon, sub-patrol, and as a fighter. Would you really want to fight with this thing? Well, some people apparently decided they were going to tango with one. This aircraft required 8,500 original drawings and 195,000 engineering man-hours to produce the very first one. Designed to compete with what became the Douglas B-18 Bolo for the medium bomber contract, and it lost. It's redeveloped into the Mitchell. And then the military decided they needed a bunch of medium bombers, so everybody got the contract. Yeah. Now, this aircraft was originally designed with a constant dihedral wing. That's a constant straight upward angle from the fuselage to the tip. But it caused stability issues. So it was removed on the outboard wing sections. It gives us this really interesting kind of slight gull wing that this bomber has. Is that not crazy? Yeah. Now, this is selected for the Doolittle raid over the other medium bombers, the B-18 Bolo, the B-26 Marauder, and the B-23 Dragon, because it had good takeoff characteristics and a relatively short wingspan. Now the G model, remember this is a J model, but the G model was developed as a strafing aircraft. The transparent nose and bombardier was replaced with a shorter nose, 250 caliber machine guns, and a 75mm M4 cannon, one of the largest weapons fitted to an aircraft in World War II. Then they upgraded to the H model, and they upgraded the M4 to the T-13E1 75mm cannon. These are like cannons off of tanks, guys. They also had 4 50 caliber nose guns and 4 50 caliber guns in cheek blisters, and 2 50 caliber guns in the manned dorsal turret, and 2 50 caliber guns in the tail. Yeah. So let's count that again. That's 10 guns forward and potentially 4 back. Because you can swing that turret all the way around like it is currently right now. Yeah, you can swing forward or back. So it came to the mantra 10 coming, 4 going. Yeah, she could hammer you hard. Now the J model, which we are flying, some J models had a solid nose with 8 50 caliber machine guns and 4 on the cheek blisters. Here we just have our cheek blisters on board, and we have a bombardier up there. So we're fully a bomber aircraft. This is a very forgiving aircraft to fly. It allowed up to a 60-degree banking turn into a dead engine. So if I killed my right engine, I could do up to 60 degrees into the right, and the aircraft could do it. It was very loud. That's due to the exhaust stacks that directed the noise at the crew cockpit. Not the smartest design, I don't think, but that's what they did. Crews and operators of the B-25 say the B-25 is the fastest way to turn aviation fuel directly into noise. This aircraft was able to extend range by using a one-quarter wing flap setting. Cruise on this aircraft is nose high, and it put about 40 gallons of fuel below the fuel pickup by adding that notch of flap. I'm trying to see which direction I got runways here. Yeah, probably gonna have to do a left turn here. No, we can swing around. By adding that notch of flap, you'd actually allow that fuel to flow up to the pickups. On the Doolittle raid, the first B-25, captained by Doolittle himself, had 467 feet, that's 142 meters of deck to take off. Talk about cutting it close. Why are we in Columbia, South Carolina? We're here because the men of the Doolittle raid started their training here in Columbia, South Carolina. In fact, see that big body of water up there off the top of the aircraft? Yeah, that lake had a B-25 in it. Guy didn't quite make the, he didn't do very well. He crashed his plane. Yeah. There was training happening in Columbia, and the Doolittle Raiders actually came in and spent some time training in Columbia before they moved on down into Florida to finish up their training. None of the pilots had taken off from a carrier before. Not before they started training, before they did it for real. Yeah, they're just like, you know, let's do it. I guess that's the way to do it, right? They flew their approach to Japan at wave top level. Now, material damage, low. Very low. But the impact on the morale for both the United States and Japan is actually pretty high. For Japan, they realized that they were strikeable. For the United States, we could strike. It also caused the Japanese to really question their defense force that we were able to sneak a carrier full of bombers that close. If you want to see one of the largest collections of memorabilia on this particular mission, you're going to want to go to the Dayton Museum, the United States Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. They have one of the most extensive collections, including the silver goblets the crews used to toast the dead during their annual reception. They no longer have their annual get-togethers. The last one was a few years ago because there were so few of them left. You can go to the Dayton Air Force Museum. You can see those goblets. The upside-down goblets were the dead, the men who had died either on the mission, there was one, I think, two, or since. There is a fully restored B-25 sitting there in Dayton as well. You can see them all over the place. There are several still flying. In fact, I've been inside one that was ready to fly. In fact, I've directed one in on taxi at an air show. Hey there, Baron. Yeah, you better take off. Okay. Let's get this baby down. going to do a little bit of dirt landing, apparently, because... There we go. Oh, no, we made it. All right. Crew of 6. Top speed was 272 miles an hour. That's 438 kilometers an hour at 13,000 feet. She had a range of 1,350 miles. That's 2,174 kilometers. She could carry 3,000 pounds of bombs. It's 1,360 kilograms. She could also carry folding fin aerial rockets. And, as we talked about, a huge number of 50 caliber machine guns, and every once in a while, 75 millimeter tank cannon. This aircraft is still an amazing aircraft, and they are still so loud. All right, stop plane. Shut off plane. Okay, now the oh, look at that! I opened up and look at all the gear. Oh, that's so awesome! Is that because I opened the thing, or is that because? Let's see. Ah, okay. So when I open it up, I get a tow bar. Okay, and the engine's running. We get rid of the drip pans and all the other good. Oh, that is excellent. That is excellent. That's really cool. Okay, so let's hit some buttons. And I do know from reading the help file that it's going to go to black screen for a little bit while it processes and loads. So I'm expecting that. Okay, so shift 1 is just him saying it's RCS panels. Okay. All right, so there is shift 2. There's shift 3. It's a closer view. 4 is the right-hand view. 5 is a closer right-hand view. Ooh. Ah, there's a throttle view. It's like Christmas. It goes black, and what is it going to be? What is that? Oh, electronics. 8. What is it going to be? Okay, that's radios. And 9. Landing gear. Okay, and cowl flaps. Wing flaps. Okay. Is there anything on 0? No. Okay, and then he said that if you, after you've loaded them, they insta-load then. Okay, look at how fast they load now. So the suggestion would be to get in the plane and hit all the buttons just to load all of the gauges into the system, and then everything will pop up nice and quickly. All right, cool. This is our B-25 Mitchell. It is a J model. It comes with all kinds of coolness when you stop the engine. It's a neat aircraft. It was a fun little plane. All right, I've been DerTebbers. It's been your Flight Simulator X plane spotlight of the North American B-25 J model Mitchell medium bomber. Till next time, happy flying, everybody.